everyone, this is Sam with Wine News in 5. This week we have a big ticket news item, but before I get there, some site news. Yesterday on the JancesRobinson.com YouTube channel, we released our 15th and final episode of Vintner's Tales. This one was recorded in 1992 and features Lady Jennifer Bute, the Marchioness of Bute in Scotland, and the proprietor of Bute Wines, an importing company. Jancis and Bute discuss how she turned ardent curiosity and an obsessive wine buying habit into a business, and how she juggles the responsibilities of running her company alongside her duties keeping up Mount Stuart House, a manor so large that she couldn't say how many rooms it contained. I have delighted in every second of these old interviews, and I hope you have too. We're still missing one episode featuring Howard Ripley. If we ever manage to find that, we will, of course, post it. If you know where it is, please let me know. On to the news. Today, we'll look at Trump's tariff war, cuts to the FDA, the winners of the Old Vine Hero Awards, and the Gérard Basset Foundation grantees. First up, Trump's tariff war. We knew these announcements were coming, but I don't think anyone expected how sweeping they would be. On Wednesday, April 2nd, the Trump administration announced tariffs of at least 10% on all U.S. trading partners. Every country in the EU was hit with 20% tariffs, and South Africa was hit with 30% tariffs. While 10 to 30% is not as bad as the 200% tariffs that Trump originally threatened to impose on EU wine, it is nonetheless incredibly damaging to both foreign and domestic businesses. Just to be clear, foreign wineries do not pay tariffs. Tariffs are paid by U.S. importers when the goods reach their port of entry, which means that while demand for foreign wine will decrease due to increased prices, thereby hurting foreign producers, it is U.S. businesses who will literally pay the price of this decision. Businesses are being given the barest bit of breathing room. If goods are on the water by 12 a.m. Eastern Time tonight, April 4th, they will not be subjected to the blanket 10% tariffs. The higher tariffs of 20% on the EU and 30% on South Africa will kick in at midnight on April 9th. Importers are currently racing to get goods on the water. Ultimately, the effect of this will be increased prices for wine drinkers, and that's likely to happen in the next few weeks. It will also reduce variety, and it's possible that the US will lose some of our allocation of the most lauded wines in the world due to lower demand. These wines will readily find an importer in a different country. Even if tariffs lift, these wines will not be redirected back to us. Domestic wines will also be hurt by the tariffs, as steel tanks, French oak barrels, French enological products, and Portuguese corks just went up in price. Meanwhile, distributors, the businesses that sell wines to retail stores and restaurants, are likely trying to figure out how they're going to make ends meet with less demand for international wines. If they need to cut staff, there will be less sales support for domestic wineries. On a personal note, the cost to study wine, for me, that's the Master of Wine program. For others, it might be programs with the Wine and Spirits Education Trust or the Court of Master Sommeliers, just went up by about 20%. Because if you're studying French wine, you cannot substitute U.S. wine for that. On to cuts to U.S. health agencies. On February 22nd, I covered mass firings at the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the USDA. On April 1st, the Trump administration fired 10,000 staffers across U.S. agencies that support public health in all sorts of ways, such as the FDA, responsible for food and beverage safety, and the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, which provides resources, grants, data, and evidence-based practices for mental and substance use disorders. Without vital staff, these agencies could become less effective. On to the winners of the Old Vine Hero Awards. On Monday, March 31st, the winners of the Old Vine Hero Awards were announced. The Next Generation Award went to Carlos and Juanjo Cerdan of Bodega Cerrón for revitalizing old vine vineyards in Jumilla, Spain. The Best Viticulture Team Award went to Bodega y Viñedos Jokic in Bolivia for their support and partnership with small growers over the last 20 plus years in order to protect old vine vineyards. The Communication and Education Award went to Michelle Shaw, the Old Vine Conference's regional ambassador for Italy, for raising awareness of Italy's viticultural heritage. The research award went to Playmont, a co-op in southwest France, for their research on the effect of biodiversity in vineyards on environmental and market resiliency. Finally, the Old Vines New Technology Award went to Marta Huega, founder of PI Concept, for the development of an analytics tool that helps producers measure their sustainability and implement changes to improve their water retention, reduce waste, and enhance soil health. Finally, the Gérard Basset Foundation grantees. On March 31st, the Gérard Basset Foundation announced funding for 12 new grants to support organizations providing education for the wine industry. Grants were awarded to the Pinotage Youth Development Academy, the PYDA, International Wine Education Center, and the Pebbles Project in South Africa, Equal Measures and Unity Works in the UK, Bordeaux Mentor Week in France, Panama Wine Academy in Panama, Ahivoy and the 280 Project in the US, Bhutan Wine Company in Bhutan, Wine and Spirits Professional Center in Greece, and Eduvino Paso a Paso in Mexico. Congratulations to all winners and grantees. You do incredible work, and I am very proud to work alongside you in this industry. Thank you for supporting our industry at an incredibly challenging time. That's all for this episode of the Wine News. If you enjoy this newscast and you'd like to see it continue, please subscribe to jancesrobinson.com. And if you have breaking news in your area, please email me at news@jancesrobinson.com. Thanks.